the last class of this division, and definitely the toughest class we've had in this division. Really good, 4 really good heifers, and I think maybe not that one that has it all, but 4 really, really good ones. Subtle differences, some small problems, but a lot of quality in all 4. To me, the heifer that's the most of the best, the one that comes to the top of the class, really feminine, sound structured, and I think she's the soundest of all of the 4 heifers out here. Very feminine in her makeup, fresh in her makeup, one that I think has some future. She has some natural shape to her rib. She's got enough muscle for me. She's definitely not the stoutest one out here, but I think that one's sound and fresh, and I got a lot of eye appeal. I think a lot of future in that heifer. The heifer in second, one that has a tremendous amount of rib and volume, a big bone, big footed kind of female that's long in her side and long in her hip. Wants to twist those front feet just a little bit, maybe not quite as perfect on the go as our class winner, gets that hock in just a little bit, but a world of volume and some balance in that female. Nice heifer in second. The female in third on the stand I like about as well as any. Really good in terms of her profile, very muscular when you get behind her. The big difference for me is when you set her in motion, she comes up about 3 inches short in her stride. If we could just change the way she goes off her hind legs, I think that's one that would be right there at the top of the class. So world of quality, just doesn't go as free and easy as I'd like to see her today. And we have a really powerful heifer at the end of the class. She's long, she's thick, she's big boned. She doesn't have as much shape to the center part of her rib as some of the heifers ahead of her. Maybe like to clean her up in her throat latch just a little bit, but a very nice class of females, definitely the deepest class of this division.
On our South Devon side, this is the start of our Pound Maker show, our derivative, our percentage females here out in front of us. And we got a June and a May out here, and I'm going to use the May heifer to win the class here. This is a heifer here that just comes to us and puts herself together really nice and in a nice sound structured package. I like her body shape and development at this stage of the game. I like her feminine front that she has. She's feminine back behind. She's got some muscle to her and some shape to her, but yet she still stays in a nice feminine package, fills her track with the flexibility off those legs. The roan heifer comes next in class here. This is a nice kind of female here, a little different in kind, just kind of green and just presented just a little bit different here. But again, this is one here, I think with just a little time and some groceries. She's just a June here, but this is one here that's got some good things about her. She's long, she's clean, she's neat, she's up-fronted. She's got good sound feet and legs on her, but again, she just gives up too much center body dimension to the one that wins the class.
Catches up on results. First of all, back on the limousine side. In the ring, this will be your Division II Limousine Championship. First and seconds back in the ring. That last class, number 9, here's the results. First place, 4728, ELCX Alexis 762E, Olivia Williams, Fairfield, Virginia. Second, 4729, TMCK Earth Angel 433E, Tubmill Creek Farms, New Florence, Pennsylvania. Third, 4730, Riverstone Ever After ET, Chase Ratliff, Westphalia, Kansas. Fourth, 4726, Boss Lake, Miss Monroe. 729E, Boss Lake Genetics, Parkland County, Alberta, Canada. And your programs and placings are 4, 1, 2, 3. Once again in the ring, this is your Division II Limousine Championship with our judge Dave Allen of Schulenburg, Texas. Graduate of Texas A&M University, graduate work at Michigan State University. Currently, he owns and operates Bar A Cattle Company and Gin Source, a semen distribution company. Dave Allen, Schulenburg, Texas, Division II Limousine Championship. Back over real quick here on the South Devon Pound Maker Heifers First Class 401A Heifer Calves. First place 6809, JVM Emory 711E, Allenbaugh Farms, Trenton, Missouri, JVM Cattle Company, Pella, Iowa. Second 6808, SBCC Evening Star 7425, Chase Terry, Winchester, Kansas. In the ring with our judge, Doug Satry, Montague, Texas. This is Class 401B Heifer Calves, born April 1st through April 30th, 2017.
On our South Devon side in our Pound Maker show here, a pair of heifers out here in front of us. April's out here. I'm going to use the white flank heifer to win the class. And again, like the last class here, this one who comes to us here with just a lot of style and eye appeal, but she's got some balance and some feminine characteristics to her. I like her for her frame size, and her depth of rib matches very, very well. She's got some turn to her belly, and she's got some width from the turn of her belly to her navel. She's got some width down there. She tracks away from you with some base widths to her that I like to see. Again, she's just got a little more overall power and dimension to her, and without being overpowering or over-muscled in any way, shape, or form. Red heifer comes next in line here. This is an all right kind of a female, and probably going to make, she's got some maternal instinct or maternal look about her and some traits about her that I do like. Female's long, and she's got some muscle shape to her. Again, she's not as extended up into her front. She doesn't have that center body dimension that we have in our class winner, nor does she have that muscle shape into that center lower parts of her quarter. But again, she's good in her overall type and kind, just different than as you compare these two heifers here.
On the limousine side, junior heifer calves, another excellent division of females. A female that won the first class is really attractive. Boy, I like her neck and her shoulder, and the shape that she has to her rib. Very sound when we get her out in terms of her movement. Maybe not the stoutest one we've had in this division, but I think probably one of the leaner ones that has a lot of future and is built really nice in terms of her skeleton. The heifer from class 2, a big volume female, deep-sided, long-hipped, got some length up front. One that, like we said in class, we'd like to clean up her chest floor, but she's sound and big-bodied, very functional, a real nice female that really has a cow look to her. And then we have the heifer from the oldest class, one that's extremely long-fronted, really bold and deep in her center body, and really good in terms of structure, and that's what got her out of class. Maybe not the biggest topped one in terms of muscularity, which I don't know in these females if that's the most important thing, but really a complete heifer that's sound and very eye-appealing. So I think some great females in this division, some really nice heifers in the second place lineup. I'll show you the two that I like the best. Congratulations to the exhibitors, another really good set of cattle.
On our South Devon side here, this is a single entry in our pound maker show. This is a March heifer calf. This is a female that's got a lot of good things about her as you look at her from a brood cow standpoint or a replacement female at this stage of the game. She's 10 months old right now, or coming up on 10 months of age, and again, one that certainly has that center body dimension that you like to see from a carrying capacity, but she's feminine up into her front 1/3. She's nice and sleek into her neckline. She transitions nicely off her shoulder into her forerib. She's not the longest hipped one we've seen, but she's got nice length of muscle. Looks like she's going to set a nice udder to her. I like the way her front leg sets into her, the way she comes off of her forearm down into her knee, and the way your front feet set forward on the floor when you look at her in that regard. The back two there, the one on this side here sets and moves all right. The one on the other side, that left hind foot, she wants to roll out just a little bit more than what I find desirable at this stage of the game. But other than that, that's a pretty nice replacement female there in that smoke-colored heifer.
Try to catch us up on results here real quick. Back on the South Devon Pound Maker Heifer Show. Class 401B heifer calves. First place 6811 WF2 Sox. Jalen Joy Smith, Pella, Iowa. Second place 6813 CCN Montana Esmer E78. Carol and Carol Nelson, Rygate, Montana. Class 401C heifer calves. First place 6814 JVM Eclipse Hannock Necht from Klamath, Oregon. Up next, single entry 401D junior heifer calves for the Pound Makers. Your Division II limousine champion is 4728 ELCX Alexis 762E, Olivia Williams, Fairfield, Virginia. That'll move the second place from that Class 9, 4729, into contention for reserve.
Another single entry here in our pound maker side here. This is a January female now, right on a year of age here. And again, heifer that's moderate in her frame size, but again, she's put together. I like her from her underline on up. I like her length of body. I like her length of hip and length of muscle. She transitions nicely from her front third into the center portion of her body. You get below that, you know, she doesn't quite have the integrity off that front end or back end as you watch her walk towards you or go away from you when she gets in motion. But again, I really like that center body dimension in that upper 1/3.
Back over the limousine side, Division II Limousine Reserve Champion 4718. That comes out of Class 7. Schilling's Evil Katie, Ben Spencer, Gibbon, Nebraska. Up next for our limousine will go to Division III. First class in Division III females is Class 10. 3 entries with our judge, Dave Allen from Schulenburg, Texas. Back over on the pound maker heifers. Result on Class 401D Junior Heifer Calf, 68-17 was first. EGR Eddie, 703E, Emma Connect from Klamath, Oregon. Up next, the ring, single entry 401E, late summer yearling heifer.
August late summer yearling out here in front of us on our South Devon pound maker side here. Again, as you look at commercial cattle and you look at them from a replacement female standpoint and what they're going to be, and you put your input costs into them and that type thing, this is certainly one you want to take advantage of right here. This is really a nice feminine female here, and big bodied and bold sprung, but yet she's really refined up into her front 1/3, long hip, long muscled female, takes a nice long stride, very comfortable out here as she moves around the arena. Nice flex in her knee and her hock. We'll see her out here in our division overall champion a little bit. It's a nice female.
On the limousine side, a real close placing on this pair of late fall heifer calves. I think 2 real long-bodied, sound-structured, eye-appealing heifers that are good in their structure and good in their spine when we set them in motion. Just a shot more volume and rib shape in the heifer that wins the class. You get behind them, I think, just a shot more muscle as well. But a real close placing on a real nice pair of heifers.
Here's results on the pound maker heifers. First place, Class 401E, late summer yearling heifers, 68-18, Fraser Cowgirl, Hannah Founts, Kansas. Up next, we have 2 entries in 401F, early summer yearling heifers. On the limousine side, here's the results on Class 10. First place, 47-31, Otto Sunny Day, 418 DET, Spencer Wilder, Snook, Texas. Second place, 47-32, Otto Diamond, 452 DET, Spencer Wilder, Snook, Texas. Scratch in the class was 47-33. In the ring, 2 entries, Class 11, female Division III, limousine with our judge Dave Allen, Schulenburg, Texas.
We're on our South Devon side here. Again, a pair of summer yearling heifers out here, and some differences between them. There's things I like about each one of them, and this is a pair here where you'd take both of them apart and make one out of them, and then I'd be really, really satisfied with them. But I'm going to use the heifer that's just a little more bigger bodied female, and certainly got more turn to her top, more circumference of rib, fits together nicely off of her forearm into her lower forerib, and then transitions nicely off of her rear rib and flank into that lower stifle versus the heifer that comes in second. She is not as chisel fronted or as neat fronted or as feminine fronted as the heifer that comes in second. But again, she's the combination heifer of me when I look at them from inputs and just commercial cattle, running commercial cattle out on range out there. That this is one here that fits the bill more for me. Heifer that comes in second here, length of body is what I really like about this female. She's a longer fronted female and a heifer that wins the class, probably longer spined one also, longer hip. But again, you look at her, she's a little larger frame. Her biggest deal is for me is she closes in too much in the base width, and that not the overall circumference or spring of rib that we have in our class winner. And from her rear rib and flank, she gets really tight back in there when you look at her going away from you.
Here's the results on the pound maker heifers for Class 401F. Early summer yearling heifers, first place 68-19. Fraser Amazing Grace 610. Travis Boney is from Princeton, California. Second place 68-21 DLCC Dory 100D. Darlin Cattle Company, Pierce, Minnesota. Up next, our final class of the Pound Maker Heifer Show with our judge Doug Satry of Montague, Texas. This will be Class 401G Spring Yearling Heifers born March 1st through April 30th, 2015. Once again, this is Class 401G, just ahead of our Pound Maker Heifer Grand Champion Drive. And just a quick announcement. I know we've got folks showing up for the Miniature Zebu show. The scheduled time for that was 3 o'clock, but because of our 2-hour power outage this morning, that will be delayed. Tentative start time, 4 o'clock, but that may change. So Miniature Zebu has been delayed. The show has been delayed until we finish our shows, one of the shows in here. Thank you.
Pair of Marsh Junior yearlings out here, and again, they're as different as night and day, and the only simulation is about is they're black. But again, I'm going to go with a more moderate frame female, just so she looks like she's just going to be a little easier keeper for me as once she gets into production here. She's a little more diminutive in her skeletal makeup for me out here, but one that's got the combination of things to put together when you look at her from a bred female standpoint. She's sound, she's got more angle to her shoulder. That's a big advantage of her over the heifer that's in second. But again, she's got that body shape and design that I like to see in that overall feminine look when you look at her from behind. Long-bodied female comes next in line, and that's what you really have to appreciate about the second one. Long spine, long hip, long muscle female. She gets a little too tubular for me and through that center part of her body and not enough base width for me. On the Class 401G for the Pound Maker Heifers, results: first place 68-24 DLCC Danielle 21D, Leah Geis, Pierce, Minnesota. Second, 68-23 DLCC Duffy 55D, Jared Mumm, Kimberly, Idaho, and Lane Geis, Pierce, Minnesota. In the ring, this is your Grand Champion Pound Maker Heifer selection for that side. We'll have Pound Maker Bulls up next. Our judge is Doug Satry from Montague, Texas, owner of Doug Satry Angus and Doug Satry Show Cattle. They have registered Angus, Keenina, Simmental cattle operation.
currently. And he and his Doug and his wife, Jane, and their daughter, Katie, reside on the ranch in Montague.
Only 2 heifers in this class, and I apologize for taking so long, but probably 2 of the highest quality heifers that come through today, and one of the closest placings, at least in my mind. Both of these heifers are extremely good in terms of quality. They've got rib, they're good in their structure, they're balanced kind of females. Subtle differences, the heifer that wins the class, when she first came in, she's not as good footed as the heifer in second. She travels fine, but she's not as good in terms of the shape of her feet. The heifer in second is bigger volumed, but if you look at the total package, a female that wins the class, I really like her in terms of her balance. A feminine female, her rib matches her front end, matches her muscle, matches her movement, just very correct and very, very complete. One that's hard to knock a big hole in a pair of really good heifers. And a heifer in second is obviously higher performing, and if you look at the data, she's a little higher in her growth data as well. Heifer that wins the class is better in terms of birth weight, but that's a non-issue to me. The big difference, though, is the heifer in second's not quite as nice in the upper part of her neck, and the big thing is when you set her in motion, she gets a little up in her loin and drops her pin. She doesn't handle her top line quite as nicely as the heifer that wins the class, but a great pair of females, really close placing, probably the toughest class, even though there was only 2 that we've had come through here today.
Here's the results on Class 11 on the limousine. Class 11, first place 4735, SCAS Divine 935D, Ashley Sue Corns, Altoona, Kansas. Second place 4734, Otto Ponder 454 DET, Sarah Sullivan, Dunlap, Iowa. In the ring next, our last class in this Division 3, Class 12. Class 12 in the ring next with our judge Dave Allen, Schulenburg, Texas.
Over on our South Devon pound maker side here, this is a selection of our champion female here. These are class winners. We didn't do any divisions in this show, so all of the 7 class winners are out here in front of us. Again, a nice set of females. Again, when you have derivatives like this and there's no really set base on how this is all to be accumulated or derived, these cattle, you get variances in your types and your kinds. Bigger thing is your structure is a bigger thing, but again, for the most part, the cattle are sound and functional and they have the doability to them. I look at this more as a commercial. If I was to walk into a commercial pen of females somewhere and pick out what I want to take home for bred females or prospective replacement females here. Pair of trio of calves up here at the front of the foursome of calves up here at the front of the class here, or the front of the lineup here. Just nicer individuals here. Some good things about each one of them. A few things you'd like to change about each one of them. But again, the basics and fundamentals are the same here. It starts at the ground and it goes up. Body shape and design, muscle shape and design, femininity on both ends. We get to our 3 bred females back here behind, our more mature females. Anyway, the August heifer here right in front of me, the lady has just really a nicely designed individual. Big bodied, bold sprung, and feminine and sound, and just really a nice individual. And you look at her from a commercial perspective of a bred female, that's what you like to see. Really sound and functional. I like the flexibility that she has in her knee and her hock. You know, if you were to change her just ever so lightly, I'd like to jack her up in her heel just a little bit more. But again, that's nitpicking on a really, really good one. The one right behind her, big bodied and bold sprung. Center part of her body is where I really like her. She's not quite as feminine as the heifers on either side of her when you look at her in her front 1/3. But again, you certainly have to appreciate her for the power that she has when you get behind her. Female that wins the final class here, a little more moderate in her frame size when you compare to the ones up ahead of her, but she's good in her type and kind, very maternal in her overall basic look, sound and functional at the ground. So with that, I'll go out and select our champion, pick our reserve, and if you could, put your hands together for these exhibitors in our pound maker division of our South Devon show here at the National Western.
a nice class, maybe not quite as tough as the class that we had just before it, but a big, powerful, high-performing, heavy-structured heifer to win the class that's got some foot and some bone and some rib. Maybe gets a little tighter in her forerib than what's ideal, but I think still a heifer that has a lot to her and the most of the best in this class. The heifer in second, I really like the way she goes in terms of more mobility. She's a bit more moderate in her frame, and I like that. She doesn't quite have as much rib shape and volume as the heifer that wins the class. Maybe not quite as much eye appeal, but still a long-bodied heifer that's very, very sound. And then we have a feminine female coming out in third with some length of stride. She just struggles as we watch her on her hind legs, and I'd like to change that about her. But a nice class of females from top to bottom.
Catch us up on results here real quick. Over on the Grand Champion Pound Maker heifer for the 2018 National Western Stock Show, it's 68-18 out of Class 401E, the late summer yearling heifers. 68-18, Fraser Cowgirl, 617D, Hannah Founts, Kansas. Reserve Grand Champion Pound Maker heifer comes out of Class 401B, 68-11, WF2 Sox, Jalen Joy Smith, Pella, Iowa. So after the picture break, we'll have Pound Maker bulls. Over on the limousine side, in the ring at this time, this is your Division III Limousine Championship with our judge, Dave Allen, Schulenburg, Texas. Here's the results on Class 12. First place, 47-38. ALYN Deja Vu 61D, Ashlyn Oshner, Kearney, Colorado. Second place, 47-37. CHR Dewdrop 151D, Madison Craig, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Third, 47-39. Joam Diamond, 651D. Joanna Mosier, Morris, Minnesota. Once again in the ring, this is your Division III Limousine Championship. First and seconds in the ring from classes 10, 11, and 12. Judge Dave Allen, Schulenburg, Texas, graduate of Texas A&M University, graduate work at Michigan State University. He grew up on a small purebred cow-calf and row crop operation in Nebraska. Currently, he owns and operates Bar A Cattle Company and Gin Source, a semen distribution company. He's been attending the National Western Stock Show since the 1970s as a spectator, exhibitor, and as a judge. And he says it's his favorite show in the country, the National Western. Once again, our judge, Dave Allen, Schulenburg, Texas.
On our fall division, maybe not quite as many numbers, but again, a real nice set of cattle. To me, though, I think in terms of there's not a lot of suspense. There's two heifers that I really liked in class, and I think they're very, very close. They both have a tremendous amount of quality, and that's the two heifers from the second class. They'll be grand and reserve in this division. Again, congratulations to all the exhibitors on a great set of cattle, and I think an excellent pair of heifers to win this division.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Congratulations.
Division III Limousine Champion comes out of Class 11, 47-35, SCAS Divine 935D, Ashley Sue Corns, Altoona, Kansas. The reserve comes from the same class as your champion. It's 47-34, Otto Ponder, 454D ET, Sarah Sullivan, Dunlap, Iowa. Up next, we move to Division IV. We have one class in this next division, Class 13. Division IV, this is your Division IV championship as well. And we're back underway here for our Poundmaker Bulls. Coming in the ring next with our judge, Doug Satry from Montague, Texas. Our first class will be a single entry 501A. Bull calves born April 1st through April 30th, 2017. Single entry 501A. Bull calves as we kick off the Poundmaker Bull Show. We have a total of 5 classes. And then we'll have our Grand Champion Poundmaker Bull selection. And then we have gets in groups and Premier Breeder, Premier Exhibitors to announce.
Starting off on our South Devon Poundmaker Bull Show over here. Again, single entry to start this off. It's a pretty good calf here, the April Bull calf, and just a lot of length and a lot of muscle shape and design. Good hip structure to him. Nice angle to his shoulder. Bull's got some substance of bone to him. He gets around the ring. You know, I'd like to strengthen that hock just ever so slightly, but again, the bull has certainly got a lot of muscle to him at this stage of the game.
Here's the results on Class 501A bull calves on the Poundmaker Bull Show. First place 6826, DLCC Escort 67E, Darlin Cattle Company, Pierce, Minnesota. Up next, 2 entries in Class 501B bull calves born March 1st through March 31st, 2017 with our judge, Doug Satry, Montague, Texas.
On the limousine side, this class is also a division, and really top to bottom, this is an awesome class. Good heifers all the way through. I think if we took the bottom 2 heifers and said, this is your first and second in class and this is your division winners, you'd say those are really good heifers. It's tremendous in terms of quality, but for me, an easy winner. Boy, I like this heifer in terms of her femininity, her rib shape, her structure, her freshness. She's not over-conditioned. She's kind of got enough of everything. She wanted to fight it a little on the go and get outside of herself just a little bit on her hind wheels, but she was fighting it, and I think she's fine in terms of the way she goes, but just beautifully balanced, beautifully designed, one that I like extremely well. She'll win this class in this division. The heifer in second, very functional, really good in terms of her feet and legs, really good in her body, really good up in her forerib. I like the way she handles her spine on the move. She's not as feminine and extended in her front third as our class winner, but very functional and useful, one that just doesn't have a lot of problems Heifer in third was a little harder one in terms of where do you put her. She's really good looking. She compares with the class winner in terms of her front end. She's got some substance of bone and some foot, a lot of look. She's not as good in her forerib as the two heifers at the top of the class. She's not quite as good in her spine when we set her in motion as we compare the two heifers at the top of the class, but really intriguing in terms of her look and her muscularity and her rib. Just doesn't put it all together through the center part and that forerib like the two ahead of her. A nice heifer in fourth, smooth in her makeup, one that's long in her side. She's not as heavy structured as some, she's not as big ribbed as some, but she's still a very good female that doesn't have a lot of problems. She just ran into a tough class, kind of got outpowered in terms of volume, and a real stout heifer at the end of the class with a lot of bone and a lot of rib. Not as nice in her front third in terms of femininity as we compare it to the heifers ahead of her. Got just a little more shoulder, but still a tremendous female with a lot of quality. An excellent class, one of the really deep classes of the day.
Over on our South Devon Poundmaker Bull Show here, these are March calves here out in front of us, and a pair of them. Here's getting a couple of bulls that just aren't really wanting to act very good out here, and a little more athletic, or not. You can't really see how athletic they are. They want to jump around a bunch. But the black bull I'm going to use to win the class, just more muscle shape and design, more body shape and design, more natural base width to him than the red bull that comes in second. Bull is probably a little more upright in through his shoulder and doesn't want to sit down off those hind two quite as nicely as we've seen in some of the other cattle out here today. Red bull, long-bodied. He's got a nice hip shape to him. He gets flatter in through his rib and in through his hind quarter. Not quite the overall width of base that we'd like to see.
Let's go over to the limousine side for that class and division championship. Class 13, Division 4 limousine champion, 4744 FWLY, Purple Ribbon, living up to its name, Macy Ratliff, Westphalia, Kansas. And second in reserve, 4742 LFL Daisy, 6061 DET, Colton Barton, Jarrell, Texas. Third, 4745 SCAS Designer 922D, Cole Sullivan, Groveton, Texas. Fourth, 4747 WFL Dixie 615D, Jace Wilder, Snook, Texas. Fifth, 4743 FBFL Daisy Duke 289D, Cameron Bryant, McMinnville, Tennessee. Next to the ring, Class 14 as we move to Division 5. Class 14 in the ring with our judge, Dave Allen, Schulenburg, Texas. Back over on the Poundmaker Bulls. The results on 501B Bull Calves. First place, 6828 DLCC Excalibur 50E, Darlin Cattle Company, Pierce, Minnesota. Second place, 6827 CCN Montana Endeavor, Carroll and Carroll, Nelson, Rygate, Montana. In the ring with our judge, Doug Satree from Montague, Texas. This is Class 501C Bull Calves.
On our South Devon side over here, February bull coming up on a year of age here, and certainly bull has got a lot of growth and performance to him. He's long and smooth, and I really like how smooth he is off his head and his neck and neck, shoulder and forerib. Transitions very, very nicely in that regard. Long top and strong topped and nice and neat knit through his underline. Bull's got a nice, really nice testicle size and testicle development to him at this stage of the game. Big-footed kind of a bull. Bull's got some flexibility to him, but again, I'd like to see him just loosen up in his spine and just cover his track just a little bit nicer.
On the limousine side, a single entry in this April yearling heifer class, but really nice heifer to represent. Boy, she is long-sided and bold and big in her rib cage. Very feminine heifer that lays in nice about her shoulder. Really good at the ground when we set her in motion. Just a tremendous heifer. Definitely could stand more competition out here in this class. It'd be really interesting to see what she looks like when she comes back in division.
Catch us up on results here real quick. Over on the limousine, Class 14, first place, 4749 TASF Dignity 035D, Aaron Dilger, Lawrence, Hebron, Ohio. Up next, Class 15, 2 entries. Over on the Poundmaker Bulls, first place, Class 501C Bull Calves, 6829 Loco Pay Streak, Kyle Strandberg, Maynard, Minnesota. In the ring right now, Class 501D Senior Bull Calves, single entry.
September yearling bull out here in front of us on a single entry on our South Devon pound maker side here. Again, a bull, again, you have to appreciate him for the growth that he has and his performance. Nice testicle development on this bull, and they sit there nice and symmetrical and balanced. You have to appreciate that about him. Nice foot shape on this bull here. As he walks away from you, you'd probably like to see a little more base width in him, and the bull that's got a lot of length aside to him, but you get from his shoulder into his forerib, he wants to get a little tighter in through that lower forerib off of his forearm back into his rear rib and flank. But again, the bull has certainly got some width when you look at him right from behind down his top.
There's the results on Class 501D Senior Bull Cams on the Pound Maker Bulls. First place 6830 Royal Delta RBG 602D Wiley Fanta, Starbuck, Minnesota. Up next, the final class, the Pound Maker Bulls, Class 501E Spring Yearling Bulls, single entry. After this will be the Grand Champion Pound Maker Bull selection, and then the Get and Group classes.
April yearling bull, again another single entry here in our South Devon side here. Bull is certainly on the stance. You appreciate him for his overall length of side and balance that he has. The bull has certainly got some muscle and power to him. That probably affects the way and how he moves, and that he wants to get outside of himself just a little bit when he plants those hind two. Bull has got some length of body, but again, you just look at his length of spine. You like to pull that tail head back and down just a notch more, but again, from a power standpoint, you have to appreciate him.
Here's the results on Class 501E Spring Yearling Bulls on the Pound Maker Bulls, our last class in front of our Grand Champion Drive. First place 6831 JVM Dingus 651D, JVM Cattle Company, Pella, Iowa. Once again, coming in the ring, this will be your first and seconds for the Pound Maker Grand Champion Drive. Our judge, Doug Satree, Montague, Texas, owner of Doug Satree Angus and Doug Satree Show Cattle with registered Angus, Keenina, and Simmental cattle. Learn more online at DougSatreeAngus.com.
On the limousine side, excellent pair of females, very impressive in this March Spring Yearling class. I think both these heifers are really good in terms of their volume and performance and muscle. Both have some look when you get them out on the profile. I think it comes down to some subtle differences. The heifer that wins the class, she handles her loin and her hind leg a little better when you set her in motion. The way she sets her hind leg down, she handles her top line a little better in motion than the heifer in second. Maybe just a little cleaner in the upper part of her throat, but a really impressive pair of females, another really strong class.
On the limousine side, here's results on Class 15. First place, 4753, Shelby Grace, DEBV, Shelby Grace ET, Whitney Walker, Prairie Grove, Arkansas. Second, 4752, DJ Dazzle Me, Alexa Montagne, Elk Point, South Dakota. In the rig next, with our judge Dave Allen from Schulenburg, Texas, is Class 16 in Division 5 females for limousine. Class 16 coming in the ring.
It's our final division here in our South Devon show and our individual competition classes. Our pound maker, our bull show, our percentage blood of South Devon's in this particular bull show. Our numbers weren't that large. In fact, this is just about the entire total bull show on the pound maker side. But again, I want to commend the breeders and exhibitors for bringing out their cattle for me to appraise today. Bull that wins the first class. This is a nice individual here, and I liked him when he was in class, and now when he was a single, and he gets out here in our division here, or our champion drive here, and you certainly have to appreciate him for his balance and his smoothness of pattern. Bull is, from a structure standpoint, you have to appreciate him. He covers his track well, has some flexibility about him, and you to get behind him and in front of him, he doesn't disappoint you at all. A black bull and a red bull come right behind him together there. These are calves here. Again, structure is a bigger thing on each one of these here. You just like to loosen them up and let them take a longer stride, but from a muscle standpoint, from a performance standpoint, they're certainly very admirable in that regard. Big black bull wins our fourth class here. Again, a bull that's got a lot of growth and a lot of frame to him, but again, he compensates with enough depth of rib. He gets just a notch piecey for me out here. Again, I like to see him transition off of that neck into that shoulder and shoulder into that forerib just a little bit nicer. As you get behind that, you know, he certainly has that width at the top that you like to see, that depth of loin that you like to see, that length of hip and length of muscle, and he gets out and he covers his track very well. A bull that, you know, has got a lot of good things about him from a breeding standpoint. Then the power bull comes in and completes our lineup here. Just a lot of muscle and a lot of dimension. Gets a notch bold in through his shoulder and a little round in through his shoulder, and that affects the way his muscle makeup is in his rear 1/3. But again, if you're looking for a power to power something up, you know, on mature cows, that's a bull certainly to look at there. So with that said, again, I want to thank the breeders and exhibitors and owners of the South Devon cattle and the pound maker division here for giving me the opportunity, the National Western for providing me the opportunity also out here to work this show. It's always been a pleasure to stay in here on the hill and give your opinion on no matter what breed it is, and I've been fortunate enough to breed or judge a lot of shows in this arena here. So with that said, thank you to the National Western, thank you to the breeders and exhibitors. I won't say any more. I'll go out and pick your champion reserve in this division here and give a round of applause to the breeders and exhibitors in the National Western on our South Devon division.
Oh, on the limousine side, another really strong class of females, an excellent pair, really functional, broody, big volume kind of heifers. I think a heifer that wins the class, it's extra stout. You get behind her, she's big hip, thick through a quarter. She's really bold in terms of her rib cage. Big boned and big footed, one that can get out and travel. Profile's pretty nice. I like the way her neck comes out of her shoulder. If we're to nitpick her, you'd like to just lean her up in terms of her condition, especially as you read her down through her chest floor. But a nice female that's extremely powerful and handles it very well. Heifer in second is more moderate in her kind, and she's very sound and useful, nice in terms of her line. She gives up a lot of volume and natural thickness to our class winner, but still a very high quality female, excellent pair of heifers in this class.
Catches up on results once again. Your grand champion pound maker bull for the 2018 National Western Stock Show is 6826. That's out of class 501A, DLCC Escort 67E, Darlin Cattle Company, Pierce, Minnesota. Your reserve champion pound maker bull 6830. That is out of class 501D Senior Bull Calves. That is Royal Delta RBG 602D, Wiley Fanta, Starbuck, Minnesota. Up next for our pound maker and South Devon show, get and group classes before pictures, but I think that may not be happening. We'll see. Get and groups are up next for them, and then we got Premier Breeder, Premier Exhibitor on that show. In the ring at this time on the limousine side is Class 17, our final class in Division 5. Going back to Class 16, here's the results. First place, 4756, Boss Lake Daydreamer, Boss Lake Genetics, Parkland County, Alberta, Canada. Second, 4754, Grot Dolly, 162 DET, Justice Mosier, Morris, Minnesota. 47-57 is a scratch. Once again in the ring, this is Class 17, female Division 5. Up next, the Division 5 championship drive.
Again, another excellent class on the limousine side. Only 2 heifers out here, but good cattle. Good in their structure, good in their rib. They're stout enough. They've got enough bone and muscle. Heifer in first, I like her, especially when we set her in motion, the way she handles her hip and her top line. Relative to the heifer in second, I think just a little more of her as well in terms of total volume. She gets a little round in her shoulder, and you can see it off her front end when she goes, and maybe I'd like to clean up her chest floor just a little bit, but really a big volume, good structured heifer to win the class. The heifer in second, I like the fact that she is just a little bit leaner, and I like that. I like her neck and head. She's good in terms of her rib shape. When we set her in motion, she gets a little different in terms of her spine and the way she handles her pin set, but a good female, a real nice class, a very strong set in this division.
There's results on Class 17, our final class within this Division 5. First place, 47-59, Mags DeLorean, E.T., Tucker Parkinson, Levelland, Texas. Second place, 47-60, SHSK, Deborah Dawn, E.T., Mason Walker, Prairie Grove, Arkansas. Up next, the ring, Division 5 Limousine Championship with our judge, Dave Allen of Schulenburg, Texas. Over on the other show ring, they're putting together the get and group classes as we're winding down our South Devon and Poundmaker show. Group classes will be coming in the arena. We'll get the results on those, plus announce the premier breeder, premier exhibitor.
On the limousine side, our junior yearling, spring yearling division, boy, just a great set of cattle. The numbers weren't big, but the quality was excellent. I think we've got 7 just outstanding heifers out here, a lot of quality all the way through. The heifer that won the youngest class is really fresh, and I like that about her. She's not over-conditioned. She's extremely sound. She's very feminine. She's not the most powerful one out here in terms of thickness, or she's not the biggest bodied, but she's adequate in those regards. Very eye-appealing, very sound, and one that I really like the condition she comes. And I think that's part of why she moves so well, is she's so fresh in her makeup and holds herself together extremely well when you set her in motion. Heifer in second is stout and powerful and big rib, good looking in terms of her design. If you're to nitpick her, she gets up in her back just a little bit when we set her in motion, and maybe we'd like to change that about her, but really stout and really good looking, a nice female. It definitely represents her class very well. Class 3 heifer is thick, and she's big bodied and really stout in the center part of her rib. She's heavy boned and big footed. I like the way her neck comes high out of her shoulder. If you're to nitpick her, she ties up a little higher as you read her through her forerib or underneath, and she's got a little chest in her, and we'd like to change that maybe, but really stout and still holds herself together pretty well and handles it pretty well when we set her in motion. And then just a huge volume heifer to win the last class. She's long and she's deep. She's good in her forerib. She's good in her top line. She's not quite as pretty in her front third maybe as a few of the others ahead of her, but real cowy in her makeup and good in her structure for a heifer that just has this much power and volume. So a nice set of females. I'll show you the 2 I like best. I think some good heifers in the second place lineup as well, but really strong division with a lot of quality.
Division 5 Limousine Champion 4749, Aaron Dilger Lawrence, Hebron, Ohio. That was TASF Dignity 035D. The Reserve Grand Champion, or the Reserve Champion Division 5 Limousine 4753 DEBV Shelby Grace ET, Whitney Walker, Prairie Grove, Arkansas. Up next, the ring 2 entries in Class 18, our final class and final division. This is Division 6. After this class and division will be the Grand Champion Limousine female selection, and then we'll also be announcing the Herdsman of the Year. Then we'll get pictures and then the bulls.
The last class in the limousine female show, and this will also be a division, but a good pair of heifers to represent. I think the heifer that wins the class, here's one in terms of her femininity and her rib shape. I like the fact that she's bred. She's starting to make some udder, getting pretty far along. She's good in her structure. I like her feet and legs, the way she gets out and goes. Just a nice combination heifer to win the class that's modern in her frame, functional in her kind, and still has some eye appeal. Heifer in second is long-bodied, feminine kind of a female. Another one I think that's sound enough in terms of the way she goes. She doesn't have as much center body and rib shape as our class winner. Maybe not quite as attractive in terms of the set of her hind leg when you get her out on the profile. But again, one with a really nice udder coming, an excellent pair of females to represent this division.
Here's results on Class 18 and also your Division 6 Limousine Championship. First place in champion, 4762, Auto Chicago, 423 CET, Paradise Cattle Company, Sarcoxie, Missouri. Second place reserve, 4761, LH Chips, 164C, Randall Wayne Vandala, Owasso, Oklahoma. As I mentioned, this will be your Division Champ reserves coming back in the ring for the Grand Champion Limousine female selection. Our judge, Dave Allen, Schulenburg, Texas. Graduate of Texas A&M University, graduate work at Michigan State University, currently owns and operates Bar A Cattle Company and GenSource, a semen distribution company. Back over on our South Devon show for the get and group classes, we have a few we can announce. Pair of calves, first place JVM Cattle Company. Second place, Darlin Cattle Company, Pierce, Minnesota. Third, RP Farm, Swanville, Minnesota. Fourth, Darlin Cattle Company. Fifth, Showboat Cattle Company. Pair of yearlings, two both sexes. First place, Darlin Cattle Company. Second place, JVM Cattle Company. Third place, Showboat Cattle Company. We'll get you more results on those group classes as they come in. Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please. Our pre-bear breeder for the 2018 NASTA Western Stock Show for South Devon, pre-bear breeder, Darlin Cattle Company. The pre-bear exhibitor for the 2018 NASTA Western Stock Show for the South Devon, Darlin Cattle Company. Congratulations to Darlin Cattle Company, pre-bear breeder, pre-bear exhibitor for the 2018 National Western Stock Show. I want to take just a moment here and thank our judge for our South Devon Open Show, Doug Satry. Appreciate your work, Montague, Texas. I encourage you to check out his website at DougSatryAngus.com to learn more about their operation. Appreciate your work, Doug. Thank you very much. Here's the results on the two bulls for the group classes for South Devon. They need to be owned by the same exhibitor. First place, JVM Cattle Company. Second place, Darlin Cattle Company. Third place, Darlin Cattle Company. Fourth place, JVM Cattle Company. Fifth place, Marvin and Denise Mum. We'll get three more group classes, I believe. We'll get those results as they come in.
Just a great set of cattle out here as we pick the champion limousine heifer. Let's congratulate all these exhibitors with a round of applause. Excellent set of cattle that came through the show today, and I'm really pleased with what we've got back out here. You know, there was a lot of good cattle, and you could do different things depending on what you like. If you like them stouter, or if you like them bigger bodied, or if you like them better looking, that's up to you. But for me, the combination of soundness and femininity with some volume, I like some bone and some muscle, but it's probably not the first thing that I go to on the heifer side. First, I'd like to make them sound. I'd like to make them big ribbed, and I want them to be feminine and look like females. And the other thing, there's probably a few heifers that came through that probably had a little more condition maybe than what's ideal for me. I think we get some of these heifers too fat. I know all these heifers have plenty on them, but I think we had some come through that had even more. And I know for myself and past experience, it's hard to make those kind of work after we get on at the show ring. So very pleased with this set of cattle, a great heifer to win the first division. I like her length of front, her depth of rib, the substance of bone, the way she gets out and travels, really good at the ground, yet she maintains a top line. She's nice in terms of the design of her hip, just very complete in her makeup, just has a little extra punch in terms of stoutness and volume to go with that structure and that good look. Heifer from the second division, she was one of the sounder, more eye-appealing heifers in that division. She's not the heaviest structured heifer out here, but she's very feminine. She can get out and go. I like the condition that she's in. I think a lot of future in this heifer, maybe not quite as competitive today in terms of where she's at, but I think one that'll be very, very good on down the road, represents her division very well. The heifer that won the fall division is very complete, came out of a good class, 2 really good females in that class, just very complete. She's nice in her rib, she's feminine, she's adequate when she goes, she's clean through her front end. She's maybe not as extended in terms of length of body or length of front as we compare her to a few of the other heifers out here, but very, very complete, one that doesn't have any big holes in her. We come back to the summer division of the heifer with the white flank. Really intriguing on the profile, excellent when you get her out on the side view. I love the way her neck comes out of her shoulder. She's really flat in her shoulder and functional in terms of her front end and her structure. I like the shape of her rib, one that's really a nice condition for a heifer of this age. She's not overdone, she's still fresh. I like the udder development that she has, nice in terms of feet and legs. Maybe sometimes she wants to walk outside of herself just a little, but I think she's tired and she wants to fight the halter. She still makes her stride, but if we're to nitpick her, that's the one thing that we might want to change her. We get back to the spring yearling, junior yearling division, heifer that won on her freshness and her soundness. One that's long in her side, long in her stride, really flat in terms of her joints. She's got enough volume and enough muscle. She doesn't overpower you in those 2 dimensions, but she's adequate. And I really like her condition, her eye appeal, just a really fresh heifer, one that outdid her counterparts just on the fact that she's not overdone. She's still fresh in her look and moves, and you can see that in her movement relative to some of the others in her division. Then we have a big-bodied, functional heifer that's showing that she's heavy-bred, representing the last division, one that's good in terms of feet and legs, maybe not as attractive in her chest floor as some of the others out here, but still a good female. So congratulations, and my hat's off to all of you. Not a ton of numbers today, but just amazing quality. Classes that had depth from top to bottom, outstanding individuals to represent each class and each division, and congratulations to each and every one of you for a great set of cattle in the Limousine Heifer Show.
Once again, those comments from our judge for the Limousine Show, Dave Allen, Schulenburg, Texas. Your grand champion limousine female for the 2018 National Western Stock Show is 4744 FWLY Purple Ribbon out of Division 4, Macy Ratliff, Westphalia, Kansas. That'll move 4742 into contention for reserve. And the reserve grand champion limousine female for 2018 National Western Stock Show comes out of Division 1, 4711 WLR Eden ET, Sarah Sullivan, Dunlap, Iowa. We'll see if we have a picture break, but up next will be bulls. I think we got picture break. Class 19 bulls will lead us off there when we get past pictures. Ladies and gentlemen, your herdsman of the year for the limousine is from Levelland, Texas, Amber Parkinson. Congratulations to the herdsman of the year, Amber Parkinson, Levelland, Texas. Got some more group class results for you for South Devon. Junior get a sire, 3 head, both sexes. First place JVM Cattle Company, second place JVM Cattle Company. Produce of Dam, 2 head, either sex. First place Darlin Cattle Company, second place JVM Cattle Company. Still have 2 more group classes, I believe, to go.
I'm not staying in the same room as Ethan tonight. We're probably going.
Here's the final results on all of our group classes for South Devon. Once again, thanks to the South Devon and Pound Maker exhibitors. Appreciate you guys exhibit at the stock show. Best 5 head placings: first place JVM Cattle Company, second place Darlin Cattle Company, third place JVM Cattle Company, fourth place RP Farms. Senior get a sire, 4 head, both sexes, first place JVM Cattle Company. That'll wrap up our show for the South Devon. Up next in the arena, miniature Zebus. Miniature Zebus. And as soon as we get the animals up here, we'll start. But I told them 4:15. It's going to be more like 4:30 until we get everything in place.
lot of these are single injury.
Well, okay. The fact that she was like, oh yeah, I'll come out and help you guys.
Just wait till one day. Wondered why you get your ass kicked so much. I said I didn't get my ass kicked. Well, I said
Because you suck at working the ring.
yes, I'm terrible ring almighty.
Miniature Zebu show will be starting here in the stadium arena momentarily as soon as we get everything set and shifted. I just want to say thank you to Doug Satry of Montague, Texas, once again, our judge of that South Devon show. Thank you very much, Doug. Look forward to calling your show again down the road.